Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Sixers Post Game Live. Today, the Sixers are in the process of getting their ass handed to them at the end of the third quarter here, nearly 50 points at one point. Let's break it down. Player of the game. Grade this team's performance. I'm not even mad right now. I'm just bewildered. I don't even know what we're watching right now. Nothing is going the Sixers' way. Joining me, I've got my man Tiago. What's up, man?
Man, we're back. We're back and better than ever. I was looking at James Harden on the bench, and I'm like, what team is he going to ask for a trade to next?
Oh, no.
Is it Miami, Milwaukee? That was ugly. No question.
It's really funny considering they just doubled down on Tobias Harris during the press conference today. Daryl Morey, Doc Rivers, Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tobias Harris as the main core. And I'm sure James Harden is sitting on the bench going, what did I just do? Also joining us, my man from Philly Sports Network, the Pick Swap Podcast. What's up, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely disappointing game. They just look flat all around. The Celtics are hitting absolutely everything, and just one of those from the start has gotten away from them. So super disappointing all around. Pretty painful game to watch.
Yeah, this is brutal. We're just going to do a quick pod here. You look at kind of the way the Sixers started out the gate, just incredibly flat. 16-4 run by the Celtics to start the first quarter, 20-6 in the second quarter. At one point, the Celtics were shooting 10 of 13 from three-point range. In the third quarter, the Celtics go on a 16-6 run to start the third quarter. Just brutal. I mean, the Celtics outscore the Sixers 32-16 in that third quarter. Just a brutal stretch. And I think everything talking point wise goes to Tobias Harris. You look at the trade for James Harden, getting that number 2 score. I'm sorry. And I love Tyrese Maxey, but Tyrese Maxey is not a good enough ball handler. Tyrese Maxey is not a good enough shot creator when Tobias Harris gets completely shut down in a game like this. I'll throw it to you, Tiago. Thoughts on Tobias Harris and this overall game?
Man, Chris is firing shots at everybody. Max, Embiid, everybody's getting called out tonight. And you just read out Tobias' stat line, specifically his plus minus. At some point, it was a minus 40 tonight. That's not good. I mean, listen.
No, Tiago, it's a minus 4. He played 27 minutes. He's playing 27 minutes, 2 of 7 from the field. He had 3 shot attempts at the half. He's a minus 40. He has 6 points. He has 1 assist.
Yeah, I mean, you know the numbers. They're constant bias when he's bad. I mean, the Sixers have to get real about what they want to be this year. I'm pretty sure James Harden is here to win a championship. And if he's here to win a championship, I think you got to call Tobias like it is. And if you think that you're going to run a second with Tobias and Harden and beat on the bench, then you might as well pack up and go home. Harden is here to be a ball handler, and Embiid is here to be a dominant force. Tobias is going to have to learn that his role with this team is going to be more off the catch, spot up threat, cutting off Harden's gravity. If there's a path for Tobias to be doing the stuff that we see Tobias do for most of his career with the Sixers, then this is not going to work. It's just not going to work, man. I mean, and we saw a perfect example tonight in Boston, extremely athletic, extremely long. Milwaukee is a similar type of defense. They pack the paint. They make it tough for you to get those shots at the rim. So Tobias have to come to grips with what his role is going to be with this team, man. So we'll see if it comes to that. But tonight was not a good start for his Harden career with the Sixers.
It's really frustrating, bro. You look at Tobias Harris, the guy was pretty efficient as a number 1 option for several years on a bad team. Then he comes here and he can't score a bucket against second stringers. He cannot get a bucket against the second team of the Boston Celtics.
And just to show what Boston thinks of Tobias, they were switching Peyton Pritchard on him multiple times. I mean, they have no respect for Tobias Harris, the ball handler. And Tobias couldn't even exploit that. So, I mean, that gives you an idea of how teams scout Tobias and the impact that he has on the ball. So we'll see.
Yeah, and some of the sets we were running for him too, a lot of them were ending up on post-ups with Tatum, which he would attempt to back down and just turn into the classic fadeaway too that we see so often, which wasn't equating to anything. And then, I mean, we're already been pounding the table for Maxey needing to play the non-Embiid minutes. And with James Harden here, that's even more important at this point. And there really has to be kind of the adjustment on Doc's end that I'm really praying for. And Tobias just can't be that Band-Aid guy that can run a unit. And I mean, we're seeing that tonight, especially outside of there's the brief 10-0 run when Embiid kind of made a conscious effort to push the pace in that second quarter. And outside of that, there's been just about no signs of life from this team as a whole. Matisse is out there jacking, looking comfortable, 0 for 6 from 3, a couple painful ones there. So just really nothing going in the offense.
And that's Sean brought up a great point. And Chris, if you can bring up Quentin's Moore's comments, because it's valid. Like, one of the things you can do with Tobias, and they did it one time in the game that I saw, was get him in motion off the ball. Like putting a guy like Grant Williams on screens, having track Tobias off screens. I mean, they did that once, and Tobias got a clean look at the paint. From then on out was Tobias ISO, Tobias post up. So to Quentin's point, like Doc's lack of creativity and ability to see the team's like weaknesses or the defense's weaknesses puts Tobias in a bad situation. He did that again.
Yeah. And I think that highlights on Tobias as like the most out of anybody, because I mean, Embiid obviously can get his in a one-on-one. Maxey has that pace as like a distinguishing factor that can separate. There's really not one characteristic that makes Tobias like stand out as a player. So he doesn't have that kind of separation factor and that kind of thing. So when it's just like go get a bucket, there's times where Toby simply just can't do it.
Yep.
All right, let's roll on to here's Tobias Harris's shot chart so far. Clearly not getting it done here inside the paint, and that's kind of been Tobias's bread and butter over the last month or so. The shots have been falling. He's been getting more and more on offense. Real short. Is this a game you just throw out the window? No James Harden, no Seth Curry, no Andre Drummond, or does this game have any significance? I'm going to start with you, Sean. Do you just forget about this and move on?
Yeah, I think you bust out the whole Jalen Hurts quote on this one and flush this one away. At the end of the day, we got one more game before the All-Star break. We'll see how the team really looks when it's fully together with James Harden back and that. The Celtics are playing good basketball right now, so I don't want to take that away from him. A lot of what they did tonight was well played. Like we talk about how hot they were from deep. They were getting good looks there, and they were creating those looks offensively. So the past 9 or so games, they've played extremely well. So give them credit. In the end, not a big deal. We'll see what happens after the All-Star break.
I went back to, I think it was last year, the year before, when Korkmaz had the back-to-back 30-point games. Remember that right before the All-Star break?
Yeah.
That would have been nice. What about you, Tiago?
I don't throw it out defensively. So offensively, I knew they were going to struggle because Curry's not there and Harden's sitting. So you know they're going to struggle to get buckets. Defensively, some of the stuff is concerning. You see a team like Boston who's long, athletic, and big on the wing. Once again, the Sixers struggle with an athletic team. They're short, an athletic defender on the perimeter. Our friend Boston Superfan says you guys are short wing depth from the bio market. I agree. Yeah. I think there's benefits of adding size on the perimeter defensively. You see it because guys like Maxey, who, by the way, had a horrendous defensive game, just struggle to defend a guy like Jaylen Brown or even Jason Tatum on the switch. So they're short depth defensive. I thought their transition defense was horrendous. Communication-wise was terrible. And the drop pick and roll coverage that we continually see with Embiid out there was a huge source of offense for Boston. They got a ton of open looks off pick and roll. I mean, the Sixers had no interest like blitzing or doing any type of hedge defense on that pick and roll offense that Boston had. And you want to see change-ups, man. Like, this is the year. This is the year. You got to win the championship. You want to throw everything that you can on there so you can stop teams. And the Sixers just run the same stagnant stuff defensively. So we'll see. But I think defensively there's some concerns there.
Did you see how much love Doc Rivers got today during that presser?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, I mean, what is James Harden going to say, right?
That's true.
I can't imagine, this goes on, the Sixers lose this year and struggle next year, halfway through the year, that Doc Rivers is here. I mean,
that's it.
Built now. So I want to see a little bit more urgency from the coaching. There's going to be plenty of games to measure that, but there's no, tomorrow come the playoffs. Like, it's now. It's now. So you have to do everything to win now.
Spoken like a true Celtics fan. I love it. Absolutely. I agree. Like, that's the take is Doc's on the clock now. He is. I mean, he should have been after everything we saw in last year's playoffs, but he is on the clock and it's starting ticking right now. It's not a good start. Although you probably, start that after the All-Star break for sure. But here's how the Celtics looked offensively tonight. It's not a good picture for the Sixers. That tells you everything you need to know. Sean, who's your player of the game tonight?
I'm throwing it to Paul Millsap. He's in here doing his thing to start the fourth quarter. He's got a bucket, a couple rebounds. So, that's a little positive sliver to take. So if Millsap has a little left in the tank, I do think he could serve as playing some rotational minutes for his team for sure. So hopefully there's a little something there.
What about you, Tiago?
My player of the game is Josh Harris and his entourage, because I don't know if you noticed, like, to start the third quarter, all those seats were empty. Like, they were like, we're not coming back and watching this long. We're going to hang out in a club suite, get a couple more drinks in. I was like, what happened? Like, all those seats were empty. I'm like, those are Josh Harris. So I felt him. I was like, man, I would have done the same thing. It's just that, we're the under the team. You kind of expect him to be paying attention to the game. So I don't blame him. I'm just joking. Josh Harris, man. Love you.
Before I get to my winner, my player of the game, could you imagine if Danny Green had made that corner three over Derek White, dropping Derek White on that? Like, that would have made it at least a little bit better. I'm like numb right now. I'm delirious. Winner of the day, I think, player of the game is the fans. That Ben Simmons says he wants to play in Philadelphia in that March game. If that happens, like I said, throw this game out the window. That's all I care about. That's going to be popcorn, baby. That's going to be nuts.
So what happens if Boston wins by 30 in that game? I mean, not Boston, Brooklyn.
We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. We're not going there, Tiago. Stop it. All right, let's wrap it up. Sean, final thoughts. Where can we find you, man?
Yeah, disappointing game overall. Not a lot of positives to take from this one. So, like I said, I think this one you wash. We move on. As far as me, you can check me out on Twitter at Sean_Bernard1. I'll have a written piece going out about the how poor this one was, so you can stay ready for that one. And then check out Pick Swap Podcast. We just dropped an episode today talking about the intro pressers, so you can check that out on YouTube there, and follow them on Twitter as well at PickSwapPod.
Love it. What about you, Tiago?
You can find me on Twitter yelling at people. That's what I'm doing these days. We're just we'll be doing these post games as much as we can. Tonight it was definitely when you flush down the toilet and go from there. But I'm excited to see Harden after the All-Star break. That's what I really want to see. How that fit looks, how he looks physically. These are all questions that we're going to look to answer. I'm excited to see him, man. It's going to be very
the season officially starts after the All-Star break. It's going to be a ton of fun. I cannot wait. Follow my man. Tiago, update your damn handle, please.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Man, I got so much going on right now. Wild. All
right. It's Tiago NBA?
No, at PHL. At Tiago PHL.
At Tiago PHL. He is at Sean_Bernard1. Check out Philly Sports Network and the Pick Swap Podcast. Check out all our work at thepaintlines.com. We did live presser reactions to Ben and James Harden today. That was a ton of fun. Ben pretty much gave absolutely nothing throughout that entire presser. It was awesome. And again, hopefully we get that matchup in March between James and Ben. And that's really what it comes down to. So follow my man Tiago on Twitter. Follow my man Sean on Twitter. For Tiago, for Sean, for myself, stay awesome, everybody.